What's going on, guys? Arson Chains here, back with another video. And in the video I made, I think 2 videos ago, where I asked for suggestions on which I should post on this channel, Alpha A Diecast commented, and he's a pretty large YouTube channel that makes content about like Hot Wheels, Matchbox cars, red lines, old cool stuff like that. But he said he was recently getting into model trains, and he didn't really know what the good brands are. He wanted to know some of the problems I was having when I was a beginner in model railroading. So here's the video. I thought about this a little bit ahead of time. This isn't like one of my normal videos where I just do it off the bat. I put a little more thought into this video. I don't know if you guys will be able to tell, but that is definitely the case in this video. So he was saying he got into model railroading. He's a beginner. I checked out his channel a little bit. I checked out your channel. I saw you using Bachmann Easy Track, and I have pieces of Bachmann Easy Track. This is the track you have. I think it's just black, but it's essentially the same thing. You can snap them together, they're the same thing. So this is what I used for a very long time, for probably about 5 years, 6 years. I wasn't super into model railroading. I enjoyed letting trains go around in loops. That's pretty much what I enjoyed with this track. This stuff is perfect if you want to do a floor layout, something you want to just disassemble, easy, quick. You just put the trains away. This stuff is literally just so perfect for that. I can't stress that enough. This is the best track you can get for your grandkids, or just making a simple loop. And getting a little complicated, more complicated. They sell switches. I don't recommend these switches, honestly. They sort of suck. The points on them aren't sharp, and that's pretty important because it makes stuff derail a lot. But yeah, I'm gonna be real with you guys. These switches aren't really the best buy. I guess if you really need switches on your Easy Track layout, I guess you should get these. But I definitely don't recommend them if you want consistency, because let me tell you, once you get on like a real layout, or you get like a Walthers or Atlas, Flex Track or whatever, those switches are amazing. I literally have not gotten a derailment with these switches yet. The only time stuff is derailed is if the car is actually, off already, and then it hits the switch and derails. But stuff has never derailed going over it, and that, to me, that's incredible, because it's 5 years of almost, stuff always derailing, having to, get over there, re-rail it on the switch. It's sort of a nightmare, honestly, with the Easy Track, Bachmann Easy Track switches. I don't recommend them, but if you need them, sure. So the next thing I want to talk about is locomotives. So you're going to be starting out with DC, and if you haven't explored what DC versus DCC is, this video probably isn't the best place to find out. I'll give you the gist. DC is direct current. It's just sort of the standard. It's the one that you probably have if you're just starting out. Throttle, the train goes, reverse, the train goes backwards. That's it. It's pretty simple. DCC is much more complicated. It sends signals through electricity through the rails to trains, so you can run lots of trains independently with a phone or the cab, which has lots of buttons for sounds, smoke. You can program your stuff. It's basically a computer. But if you want to learn more, this video isn't really the place for that. But anyways, so this is probably a locomotive. It looks pretty familiar to you guys. This is a Bachmann locomotive. This is actually the first locomotive I ever bought with my own money when I was like 7. It served me pretty well. It's a 262, which, if you don't know, is referring to the amount of wheels it has. So there's 2 up here, 6, 2, so 262. So yeah, that's what that refers to if you don't know. So yeah, those locomotives, they're pretty good. They're workhorses. They run a little loud. They're not the top of the line stuff. As far as it goes, Bachmann is a very good starting brand. I think it's probably the best starting brand you can buy. They're simple. They usually come with track in big sets. But yeah, so Bachmann is the best starter brand. And also, when you get higher up a little bit, you'll find that they're a pretty good value. I recently got a Bachmann Sound Value USRA Light Pacific 462 for $150, and I was pretty impressed. It's really smooth. It sounds good. It's Tsunami 1, so it's gonna sound good. But overall, even once you're higher up in the modeling tree, I guess, it's still a pretty good deal. They have the deals. A little less quality, but they have the deals. So probably the next brand you're gonna experience if you're a beginner is probably Athearn. Athearn makes a few different lines. They have some older stuff called Athearn Blue Box, which is just basically the stuff that they came out with like sort of 2000s and back. All that stuff runs really well as long as you don't get one that's like it's trashed. All those are really reliable. So if you go to a hobby store these days, you'll probably run into something called Athearn RTR, Athearn Ready to Roll. And those are always going to be diesel locomotives. There might be a few sort of old time steam locomotives, but as far as it goes, you're only going to see diesel locomotives in Athearn RTR or Ready to Roll. They're really reliable runners, I have to say that. I've had a few of them. No complaints, pretty good detail, higher up the tree than Bachmann. That's pretty much Athearn. They make Athearn Genesis, which is like their top tier, everything's down to the exact, just really, really exact. Everything, all the detail is really thin and small, and if you blew the train up, it'd look real. So I would steer clear if you're a beginner of Athearn Genesis. It's mostly expensive, that's the one reason. One caboose with lighting can run you $100. While you could get a caboose from Athearn or Bachmann for $10. So steer clear of Athearn Genesis if you're a beginner, I would say. So the next thing I want to talk about is rolling stock. You probably have a lot of pieces of rolling stock because if you get a starter kit, it probably comes with like 4 to 5 pieces of the cars. It comes with 4 to 5 pieces of the rolling stock. The cars you have probably have maybe metal wheels, I'm not sure. Probably 50-50 plastic or metal, I'm not really sure. I don't use plastic wheels personally. I don't find they work well. There's a lot more friction. Metal wheels basically just look like this. They're metal. You can tell they're metal. They're not black plastic. They are metal. So yeah, that's another thing. Metal wheels are always better than plastic wheels. They roll a lot freer, more durable. Obviously, metal is just more durable than plastic. That's simply a fact. Couplers. So if you have any of the starter sets, you probably have these couplers. If it's a modern starting set, they're plastic. These are called Bachmann Easy Mate couplers. They're good. They look they're better than the old horn hook couplers. That's definitely for sure. But if you're wanting to sort of upgrade your rolling stock per se, or you're looking for quality rolling stock, you're gonna get KDs. And what KDs are basically, they're pretty much the same as those Easy Mate couplers on the Bachmann, but they're just metal. They're pretty expensive. You can buy a pack of them. I think this is like 50 of them. But this was $46. This is American dollars. Sort of a lot if you really ask me, but the nicer things on them, they have little metal springs instead of a plastic little thing that springs the knuckle closed. Metal doesn't break. I've had lots of plastic couplers snap actually, just over time. Metal, I've never had a metal coupler break on me, I don't think. The worst that's happened is that the little spring just comes out and then it's sort of ruined, but you can definitely put them back in. It just takes a little time. So as far as the things you really want to avoid, I wouldn't say there are too many things you want to actually like be afraid of and steer clear of. Sure, there are some items that are in a lineup that are just like, oh, you would never want to touch those. But those are pretty small instances. Most of the time, most brands always have some pretty decent stuff. If honestly, I think when I was starting out, I just bought stuff I liked. That's still what I do now. I don't go for realism or anything like that. I buy the stuff I just like. It's stuff that appeals to me. So that's what I'm sort of in the hobby for, is just finding stuff that I enjoy running. Saying that, there are definitely a few brands that are pretty low and you'll definitely regret buying them in the future. Lifelike is one that's a very low end brand. It's mostly for kids, I think. So I would steer clear of that. Other than that, though, there's not too many brands. Tyco, they're out of business. But Tyco, I would definitely steer clear of. They have old pancake motors, and usually they are seized. So I would definitely steer clear of that. As far as other brands go, I'll name my sort of the brands that I consider the high quality stuff. Bachmann makes some decent higher end stuff. Bachmann Spectrum. They have their problems definitely, but some of them look pretty good. So you got Walthers, they make mostly diesels. I think they only make diesels. Intermountain has only made one steam engine, but these brands all make really good diesels and steam engines, some of them. But my next one's Athearn Genesis. They make really good steam engines and diesels. MTH make some scaled up or scaled down O scale is the best thing I can compare it to. They're a little more toy-like than Athearn Genesis or Broadway Limited. So yeah, there's that. Broadway Limited is my next one. They make mostly steam engines, I think what people know them for, but Broadway, they're a pretty good company. Other than that, there are some newer brands to the scene. Of course, I left a few out. That's sort of part of it. But some of the newer brands on the scene, we got Rapido, we have Scale Trains, and they're making some really incredible stuff. Probably some of the best diesels on the market. As far as I know, none of them. Rapido did make a Royal Hudson. I think it's a Royal Hudson. I don't remember exactly, but they've only made one steam engine. So, but those guys, they make incredible DCC sound diesel locomotives. They're the best on the market right now. So yeah, guys, when it comes down to the end of the day, if you're really a beginner in model railroading, just buy the things you think are cool. Make sure it's, DC, so it runs on your track and your transformer. But as far as it goes, if you really just enjoy running your trains around in a loop and you're not really wanting to get serious into model railroading, I think you just buy things you think are cool. Just steer clear of the two brands I said, Tyco and Lifelike. They're just really low-end brands. But other than that, just buy the stuff you like, guys. It's really just as simple as that. I give you my opinions on Bachmann Easy Track. So to recap that, Bachmann Easy Track is perfect for just making loops of track and running your trains on. So I hope I covered everything in this video. I'm sure I left something out, but please leave it down in the comments. I'll answer. And if you want a follow-up video possibly, leave those questions down there too, and I'll definitely make a second video. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.